Yo, my people, today is day 6 of 75 days. As you can see, the sun's coming up. I'm bullshitting you lot. It's about 5 p.m. and I've had no time to record for you lot. I haven't exercised yet, I haven't read, I haven't drunk any water. Obviously I can't because it's still Ramadan. But I'm starting my video now at 5:30. The sun's good in this room, that's why I'm here. I haven't really done my hair properly. I did do it, but when you got curly hair, it's a whole nother story. So I'm gonna start my first exercise. I think I'm just gonna stick to the pavements. I don't know if I'm gonna go to a park today. I might stick to the roads. Not too sure yet. Not long left until I break my fast anyway, so I need to make sure I'm home. I might mess up today. I ain't messing up this challenge, man. But I'm gonna do my first workout. I'm gonna get on the road. I'm gonna start the run. I might not be able to record while I'm running, so I might have to give you guys a update while I'm walking or maybe while I'm inside. Simply because the weather was pretty good today. As you can see, the sun's kind of coming in. I might just have to update you guys at home, or I might update you guys while I'm walking and prepare my food for day 6 of 75. It's almost night time, man. I had to break my fast when I was out. When I get in, I can actually give a full breakdown of what I'm eating. I was tight on time today, but I still made it happen. No excuses, no bitching. Now hear me out. I know both plates that I just showed you guys are completely different and are pretty much worlds apart. But I don't really have an explanation. I'm going to start with the chicken. I'm going to take a break probably. I'm not just going to eat both of them back to back. I'm going to start with the chicken and the potato, and then I might read, and then I'll come back for that. For some reason, when I was cooking this, I was just craving the Weetabix. But I don't think it's a very smart and tactical idea to just eat these back to back. Probably shit myself, probably give my stomach a hard time, probably gonna vomit. Yeah, I don't want that. Working out at the time that I did, at around 7:30, just before iftar, it was definitely a nice change. Just going from it being broad daylight to the sun coming down, kind of seeing the sunsets. To be honest though, it's a bit inconvenient to do that. If Ramadan isn't here, then it's a lot easier. But to work out and then break fast straight after, I have to have food prepared way before. Today I didn't get the chance to do that, but I did enjoy it a lot. I was kind of forced to do it, but I enjoyed it. It was kind of one of those like last minute scandalous activities. And if I give up, somehow if I was to flop, I'm not trying to flop within a week. At least get me like halfway through. If I was to flop, you're telling me I'm gonna flop within not even a week. I'll be so mad. You have to improvise. If you don't have time in the morning, you've got to find time in the day, and you've got to do that other workout. So it's not a thing where I can just push the day workout right at the end, because that's when I want to weightlift. If I can't run in the morning, or if I can't walk in the morning, I've got to find time somewhere in the afternoon. I have to improvise. There's no bullshit excuses. I have to do it. I've got no choice. And I'm taking from this, it's just improvising and not trying to make up some bullshit excuse. One thing that I haven't even incorporated in this challenge is fish. I've had tuna like once or twice. Meat-wise, all I'm having is chicken, minced meat, and like the one kind of tuna. So I definitely need to get myself some salmon. Have a better variety. I'm not getting bored of the chicken though. I've never got bored of chicken before. There's no way, like, you got bored of chicken and you just have it. There's so many different ways to have chicken, bro. You can never get bored of it. When you're fasting, anything tastes good when you break your fast. It could be the most mid cooking. It could be half burnt. That shit's gonna hit when you break your fast. Anything tastes good when you're hungry, bro. Second bowl. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna have a little bit. I was craving this, so I'm gonna go for it. Means if I eat this now, then when I finish my workout tonight, I don't need to have this, I can have something else. And I'm thinking tuna. I'm not too sure I'm gonna have it with yet. Obviously it can't be anything carb related. Tuna with salad, potentially. And then the next clip, I'm going to get myself reading and then to the gym. Not gonna lie, I do want to get this book over and done with sometime next week, which means I'll need to read more than 10 pages a day, which is fine as long as I can find the time to do that. I can finish that next week. But if I read 10 pages every single day, it's not gonna allow me to finish next week. I made a video on how I found my path of having a relationship with God, and I wanna basically go over it and speak about it in this perspective of doing this 75 hard challenge, and see if you guys can actually get on board with what I'm saying. So I grew up in a very white Christian / Catholic area. The school was like that. I remember on every single day, I think it was a few times a week, in the we did assembly and we had to do praise. We had to pray, and like how a Christian prays. This is the sort of things that was brought into my life, and I didn't even have a choice if I wanted to do it or not. This is what was taught to me, regardless if I wanted to do it. We would do there was like a teacher who would have a piano, would sing, there was like a choir, all sorts of beliefs that I didn't really understood because I was just too young. I didn't know where I stood. And throughout my whole childhood, my secondary school and my primary school, I never really stood by faith. And I kind of sat on the fence. Like I knew I wasn't an atheist, but I wasn't ready to commit to a religion. And back then, like being around so many white people, if you're gonna and being around so many people who were Catholic or Christian, if you're gonna sort of say, oh, by the way, I'm Muslim, you're getting the stick, bro. Like they're gonna take the piss so bad. And if I was Muslim back then, I didn't even have the courage or the balls to like stand up for myself. I would just be getting taken the piss out of left, right, and center. I was a very shy kid, but there was also loads of different things that I liked. Like I was into R&B, I was into jewelry, I was into R&B. Like I was heavily influenced by like American hip hop. I was a little light skinned kid, man. What do you expect? This is what the stuff that I liked. And part of me still there, I'm not gonna lie to you. This was my character. I liked the earrings, I liked the jewelry. This is what was me. This was my personality. This is what I liked to have on display, that was a part of me. So I grew up, learning a lot about Christianity. I understood how Christianity works, and I didn't really know much about anything else, especially Islam. My dad is even a Christian, and my dad's side of the family are Christians as well. Obviously, I heard about Islam, but like it wasn't a thing that I would actually consider taking. If someone wrote my name down and put he's a Muslim, I'll take to scratch that up. I didn't want to be a part of that, and I think the reason for that is because my surroundings were very, against other religions other than being a Christian or Catholic or even being an atheist. If you're talking about being Sikh or Hindu or Muslim, like I said, like no one's really gonna back you. If you can't back yourself, you're gonna just get the stick. That's how it was in my school. It was a very white-based school. Only when I came to college is when I learned more about Islam, and I already knew a lot about Christianity. I knew what they stood up for. I knew what they believed in. I knew what habits they have. I knew what they attend to. I knew what the celebrations were. They're all quite obvious, like the Easters and the Christmases, and I was a part of that. Like I did celebrate these holidays because I was never a Muslim in my head. I was never a Muslim when I grew up. When I came to college, I met some people who were actually Muslims and other religions and other ethnicities, had different faiths. And obviously, I'm a colored person. Like I'm gonna have a conversation with anyone I want. I'm never gonna be racist towards anyone. I never had no stigma against any person. Some people in my school they did, but someone like me, I'm a colored person. I got all the racism, all the names under the sun anyway. So of course I'm gonna talk to other colored people. And I remember there was this group of Somalis, and they come up to me and they'll, I can tell they're Muslims. Not hard to, the way they dress very like modestly. And by this time I was learning about Islam. I thought, you know what? I've neglected this religion before. I said I'm not a part of this religion before, but now I'm willing to learn about it. And this was about 2018, 2019 times. I think it was beginning of 2019. This is when I was like, okay, I want to learn about Islam. And I had this book, and it was just a basic book. It was basically the 5 pillars of Islam, and like giving zakat, praying, believing in the angels and Day of Judgment, had all of that stuff. And there was a lot of things in there, obviously I didn't know about, and I'm learning. I'm reading the book, and a lot of things it's very hard to ignore because there's a lot of signs in there that are happening in today's age. Rivers drying up, LGBTQ, people acting the way they act around the world, economic situations. It was all written in the book and all written on in these little minor major signs. And I was just thinking like, this is very hard to ignore. Like this is all true. This has all happened. Like nothing has gone against this. It's not like it was something that was really like, yeah, forget it, that's not true. Like it's obvious that's not true. All of it was very like, I'm thinking this book is really as old as it says it is, and it's keeping up to today's age. And something's missing here. Like clearly this book knows something, especially back then, that we still don't know today. Some of the things that we don't know today, that book knew, and that book was over 1400 years old. I was really interested, and what I really liked about the religion was the discipline. I loved how praying 5 times a day and fasting was like a big thing in the religion. And I did initially think, that's quite a lot. But when you actually think about it, when you actually learn, it's not that much, and it's not something that's actually as hard as it initially seems. My mum and my mum's side of my family are Muslims, but I never learned about Islam. I was never taught when I was a child anything. And I'm not putting my mum or my mum's side in a bad light. I'm just saying like I wasn't around that sort of environment. So if I have to come to this religion, I have to have a change in my friendships, or I learn and make a decision if I want to come here or not. By the time I was 16, I was still sitting on the fence. I didn't pick a religion by the time I was 16, but when I became to college, when I was 18, 19, when I learned for myself, and when I saw certain things that a book was saying, and it made sense in my life, and it made sense all around the world, I said, you know what? Islam was making sense to me. It really was making sense. Literally growing up, celebrating Christmas. Sometimes I would celebrate Eid, but I never knew anything. I was a child. I just want I was a child. I'm just looking at it from like a child's point of view, where you just get treats and all sorts of stuff. So I learned about Islam, and I learned to pray, and I never took my Shahada because I thought to myself, my family's Muslim, so if I want to become a Muslim, just learn about it and start praying. I never saw myself as a full revert coming from no Muslims in my house, because I did have Muslims in my house. I accepted Islam and I started to pray, and 19 I was 18, 19 only a couple years ago, and I've been learning since. There was a lot of things that I did have to let go of, and a lot of things I did eventually let go of. I didn't let go of stuff straight away, but I might eat certain things, I might say certain things, and I knew that Islam didn't support that. So I knew I had to kind of let that go. It might have taken me a while, but I knew, I know there's a reason for certain things that aren't allowed. So if I let it go, then it might open doors for something else. 4th year in, my 3rd or 4th Ramadan, and only last year I've been going to Tawari prayer. I've never actually been there. I think I went once 2 years ago by myself, and that was a weird experience. It was so busy and I couldn't even get in. So I stood out there, and I think I got in there, and I was allowed to just pray like 2, and then that was it. I also got an experience when I was in a mosque when I was really, really young, and I might get into that in another video. Only once I went into a mosque when I was a child, from what I can remember. So I'm gonna give you a breakdown on that. But that's basically my story on how I found God, and how I feel like content, and how I feel like how I feel with my faith, and having what's written for me and what I believe is written for me. Once you have that mindset of, I know what's written for me, and if you work hard to whatever you're doing, you just leave it into the hands of God. Once you have that mindset, you find life being a lot easier, and you find yourself not being as stressed all the time. My heart opened up when I read about Islam. So I've always followed my heart, and my heart got me here. So my advice to someone who wants to find God and wants to find a way to connect with a bigger being, follow your heart, man. Definitely gonna tell more stories about my upbringing and certain scenarios that I've encountered in. I really enjoy talking about them. And like I feel like it's a way for the viewers to understand what kind of character I've been and what kind of character I possibly even I was, and what character I am today based on what I went through and what I've experienced in my life. So I'm definitely want to touch on topics and whatnot, because bro, I had some funny stories, man. Back day, last meal, and then I'm calling it a night. Probably the best I've felt in a long time, to be honest. I might not be the strongest, but I look alright. I look alright. I think I'm doing alright. Probably my body just small for you. You always feel like you look small, no matter how big you get. So you need to find a place to stand and come to a realization where enough is enough. There's no point trying to keep chasing the end of a rainbow. You've got to be satisfied at some point. And some people are never satisfied because they keep trying to chase and chase and chase. And that's like reality for everything. Keep chasing the end of a rainbow, you ain't gonna get there. You gotta find satisfaction somewhere, man. Where's the wisdom? That's why they say you can only chase a pump, because the pump only gets bigger and you can only keep chasing it. So find satisfaction. We all feel like our body looks like shit, some more than others. I wanted to hit biceps, but I'm doing it tomorrow, so I don't really want to do that. I already pre-exhausted my biceps. I'm going to finish this off and call it a day. Definitely not the most prettiest dinner I've made, not gonna lie. Not much even in here. I've literally put tuna, a bit of mayo, and lettuce, and some Turkish sausages. Probably less than 100 calories here. You'd think I'm cutting, but it's got the protein I need, so I'm gonna go with it. I was thinking of having eggs. I ain't got the appetite for it today. Hopefully once I'm finished done fasting, then I can incorporate eggs every day, but nah, if it gets too late and I haven't had eggs, there's a chance of me having eggs after midnight. It's just not gonna happen. Got a bit of water left, gonna get that in. I'm done for day 6, and then I'm on to day 7. 1 week in, 75 hard, light work.